Hi everyone, I'm Mark Janes. We are honored here at Beech Grove High School and BGTV to serve as host for the Mayor's State of the City address for this year completed and a preview of 2014. Happy to be joined by Beech Grove's Mayor Dennis Buckley. Sir, thanks for being here. We appreciate it.
It's good to be here, Mark.
Yeah, we're excited about this opportunity. We will basically do a little preview and a little review, if you will, of 2013 and 2014, and then we'll give you an opportunity to actually deliver the State of the City address here on Beech Grove Television. We had you in here a little over a month or so ago. We talked about some of the highlights from 2013. We'll expand upon that a little bit. We're going to give people, as we said, a little thumbnail sketch of where things stand now. Let's, first of all, we'll talk about things from a budgetary perspective. You're pretty happy at where the budget has come in, not only for the recently completed year, but projecting forward for 2014.
Yes, 2012 was the first budget that we wrote as an administration, and it was fully funded and balanced. The budget we wrote for 2013 was also fully funded and balanced. And then the budget we're working on now, 2014, is the same way. The council approves those budgets. But I think the thing that's a little different now is we're approaching about $200,000 in the rainy day fund. That is really good, and I'm happy about that.
In terms of projects for 2013, you don't have to look very far to know what the biggie is. Main Street is going to be something that I think will be talked about for a number of years.
I think you're exactly right. When I ran for mayor, I told people that I would fix Main Street, and that's exactly what we did. I couldn't be happier for the people of Beech Grove, the business owners. It was a terrible hardship on those folks and the people who live down on Main Street, but I am certainly glad that the city did it.
A lot of emphasis this time of year on snow removal and things relating to that. We don't often think about paving projects, but for your office, you're always thinking about paving projects. What's a thumbnail sketch of what's in the offing for 2014?
Well, we budgeted $400,000 to pave local roads, and that's really not a lot of money, but that's the best that we can do. So we're going to focus on two roads this year. 23rd Street, we're going to complete it, and then we're going to completely redo Royal Road. That's over off of Churchman Avenue. And that's the result of the road has gotten to the point where the drainage is so bad that it needs to be replaced. So we're going to look at that.
Now, of course, stormwater management, one of the key points of emphasis in reworking Main Street. That doesn't mean the problem is solved. There are some pretty important issues in the not too distant future as it pertains to stormwater management here in the city of Beech Grove.
We are only one of about a half a dozen cities between Anderson and Columbus that do not have a stormwater utility. So we are going to create that. I'm going to approach the council in March to create that and start addressing some of the stormwater issues we have in the city of Beech Grove. What that means for the property owners is probably a fee that will be charged monthly about $1.50. It's another difficult decision that needs to happen. It should have been done a long time ago, but it wasn't. But that's all right. I'm going to tackle it head on. And we have about $4 million in projects that need to be done, and there's no way to fund these projects. And then we have ancillary issues that need addressed as well. But we have a concerted problem with stormwater drainage that needs to be addressed, and I intend on doing it.
And again, folks, all of these issues we'll be expanding upon in the Mayor's State of the City address coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Part of the infrastructure, the Parks Department. I think we have an awfully good Parks Department here in the city of Beech Grove.
Well, we invested about $400,000 in the park system in 2012 and 2013. We have a wonderful parks director. He's done a nice job, Tom Hannon. We met as early as yesterday with Dr. Kaiser and the school system about doing some joint projects together, and I just think that bodes well for the city and the school district. So very happy with the park system. We got to have good parks.
Downtown, perhaps the most obvious economic development issue over the past year and a half to 2 years, but economic development is an ongoing issue, and you look for 2014 to be a successful year.
Yes, we did really well in 2013, and to my surprise, but there's some things that are going to happen in 2014. ADM milling comes online, and Citizens Energy has an LNG tank out here in Beech Grove that they're converting to Kinetrix Energy, and that's going to help us quite a bit. So there has been a substantial amount of money invested in the city of Beech Grove over the last year, and that's going to come out to play probably late spring this year. So we are really looking forward to it.
You want to create a part-time position, a compliance officer, and it's basically an effort just to make sure that not only are city properties and businesses taken care of, but you want to make sure that property owners and taxpayers here are responsible property owners and taxpayers. You want to make sure people keep things looking nice here in the city.
What we're going to start this year is to hire part-time compliance people who will go out and inspect residential properties. They will issue citations to, as a result of trash, grass, junk cars, and then whoever owns these things will be cited into our court, and then the whole thing evolves around cleaning up neighborhoods, and that's what this is all about. You know, it's not to generate revenue, it's to make it better for everybody.
Now, I had an opportunity to preview the State of the City address, and out of all of the things that jumped off the page at me, this last point I want you to touch upon before we take our break. Your administration, no significant job cuts and no significant budget cuts in the time that you've been in office. That's a pretty tall task in this economic climate.
Well, it is, and I think we've done really well. We have to change the way we think. We can no longer be dependent on property taxes, and we have to come up with different ways to fund government. But when we came into office in 2012, our budget was underfunded by about $250,000, and we had to make that up. And I'm really proud of the fact that we didn't lose anybody. And to this day, we haven't lost anybody. And you read in the paper or on the television about other cities making budget cuts all the time. Well, the city of Beech Grove has stabilized itself, and we're moving forward, and I'm really happy about that. And I just think it would be awful to have to lay people off, and we don't want to do that.
Well, on behalf of Dr. Paul Kaiser, our superintendent, our principal, Steve Cox, and of course, Wiley Kraft, who directs our program, we're thrilled with this opportunity. We thank you for allowing us to play such a vital role in city government and allowing us to provide this forum for you to deliver the State of the City address on Channel 28.
Oh, it's good to work with the school system. I tell people all the time, and I told them the same message when I was running for this office, is that if we don't have a good school system and a good library, our city's not going to be any good. So as mayor, I have to promote the schools as well.
When we come back, Beech Grove Mayor Dennis Buckley will deliver the State of the City address.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the 2014 State of the City address. My name is Dennis Buckley, Mayor of the City of Beech Grove, and before I start, I would like to thank the Beech Grove City Schools, Wiley Kraft, Mark James, Principal Steve Cox, and Dr. Paul Kaiser for allowing me to present my State of the City to you via the Beech Grove High School and the media room. So thank you so much. I would like to take this time to report on the state of your city. I must report that we are doing better than I anticipated, as we have progressed well over the last 24 months, but we still have a long way to go. In October of 2013, the City Council passed a fully funded and balanced budget for our department heads and administration to work with in 2014. This marks the second budget that our administration has presented, and we are making strides into maintaining vital services to our citizens. The 2012 fiscal year was reviewed in 2013 as a result of an audit conducted by the State Board of Accounts. The 2012 budget was the first budget cycle that we worked with. The results, which have been released to the general public, show an improvement in our financial condition, record keeping, documentation, filing, and overall accountability as a city. This is an improvement over the conditions found prior to our appointments pursuant to the 2011 budget. Once again, we were able to continue to provide much needed benefits to our employees and retired members, and our Board of Public Works and Safety approved agreements with the FOP Lodge 86 and Firefighters Local 416. One of the indicators that led me to believe that our government is stabilizing is with our workman's compensation and liability insurance renewal. Our city struggled in years past finding companies to underwrite us. Now, with all of the new equipment and upgrades, asset inventory, and along with new policies concerning safety and workforce development, our annual premium increased by less than $12,000, which is really good. Our governing boards and city council were very busy in 2013. Our Board of Sanitation and Board of Public Works and Safety approved new agreements with Covanta, Keystone Programs, Stormwater Services, Sanitary Services, Paving, Safe Routes to School, Stormwater Development, and a rate study for stormwater implementation. Our City Council approved ordinances pertaining to sanitary sewer rates, commercial trash pickup, residential trash pickup, violation fees for the city court, employee drug testing, holiday work schedule, commercial vehicle parking, license fees, building codes, panhandling, municipal vehicle accidents, Greenscape Commission, and salary ordinances for appointed and elected officials. In 2013, Main Street was reconstructed. It caused a terrible inconvenience to those who reside and conduct business on Main Street. But it was the most important project that this city has undertaken in years and needed to be done. I have said on many occasions that I regret the hardship I have caused citizens and business owners, but I do not regret going forward with the reconstruction. As a result of this, our city has benefited from new business and more people visiting our business district than in years past. Plus, our water drainage problem has went away. This was apparent when we had a 4-inch rain event in December and no flooding occurred, not even in basements. We are down to the final payments on the project and are looking forward to having the project paid in full by spring. Special thanks goes to Great X and Crossroads Engineers for their work on this project. As you can see, this project has changed the face of our city. My thoughts are, let's keep good things happening. We continue to look for alternative ways to fund our departments and projects. In 2013, we utilized a $4 million grant to reconstruct Main Street. Our fire department received funding to replace protective clothing. Our police department accessed already approved grants to purchase and install cameras in vehicles and a license plate reader. And at year's end, we received notification of a grant for sign inventory and replacement and safe routes to schools. All of these grants will make a significant improvement to our city. In 2014, we will apply for funding through OCRA, Office of Community and Rural Affairs, in an attempt to purchase a new fire engine. Soon, some local businesses will receive an application to improve the facades on the front of their buildings through a small business program called Fostering Commercial Urban Strategies, our focus. We continue to charge for heavy trash and brush, and soon we will make adjustments to our sewage works bill by 57 cents per month. to offset the cost adjustments by Covanta for disposing of your trash. In 2013, our city placed a second ambulance in service. This ambulance is staffed by Franciscan Alliance personnel and serves our city from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. daily. Not only does it provide a much-needed service, but it also generates our city thousands of dollars in revenue to offset expenses and to make new improvements. In 2013, both of our ambulances made 3,695 ambulance responses, and our city collected approximately $880,000 in revenues as a result of ambulance billing. In 2014, it may be prudent to move forward and make this ambulance a 24-hour-a-day service to generate even better ambulance protection and more revenue for our city. I will also ask the fire chief to look into ways to better retrieve new equipment through MedBill so budget funds can be set up to continue to lease purchase ambulances in the future. This is soon becoming a priority as our ambulances are placing thousands of miles a year on the drivetrain due to the run load and demands. In 2013, we continued with our commitment to pave local roads. This was the second round of paving that we have participated in. Detroit Street from 10th to 17th, 13th Avenue from Albany to Southern, 23rd Avenue, 8th Avenue from Alton to Bellefontaine, Shaft Street from Garstang to Bellefontaine, and the alley south of Main Street from 15th to 17th were all repaved. As a result of this, we have invested approximately $700,000 in our local roads and streets in the last 2 years. We now budget $400,000 in local roads and streets for paving each year, and this is a much needed improvement over years past. In 2014, we will focus our efforts on the completion of 23rd Street and the complete reconstruction of Royal Road, which has deteriorated as a result of several drainage issues. Thanks goes to United Consulting for their work over the past 2 years on repaving our roads. When paving doesn't occur over an extended period of time, it takes years to get caught up. For 7 to 8 years prior to our administration, very little was done in as far as repaving was concerned, and we all see the condition of our roads. In 2013, we began the process of conducting repairs to our sanitary sewer system and stormwater drainage. In 2013, we conducted approximately $200,000 in repairs to these systems as much needed work was done on South 4th, the intersection of Fletcher at 9th, behind 302 North 8th, the 200 block of Albany Street, and Detroit from 14th to 16th Avenues, the intersection of 15th and Buffalo, the 1200 block of Parkway, and our sanitary sewer system was extended by the addition of the Teachers Credit Union on Emerson Avenue. Thanks goes to Wessler Engineering for their work in assisting our city with rehabbing our sanitary sewers. This city can simply not afford to go years without maintenance or repairs to the sanitary sewer system, and that has exactly been the case. Some of these projects listed above should have been completed back in 2005 and 2006. Now we have an employee who has been hired full-time to work exclusively on both the sanitary and stormwater systems in our city. As the weather breaks, we will begin a major sanitary sewer rehab project in the area of 8th and Bellefontaine to replace the sanitary sewer system, which has caused serious backups over the years and was recommended to be replaced back in 2005 by Wessler Engineering. In 2013, we began the process of developing ordinances and rates pursuant to stormwater management. In 2006, our city established a stormwater utility by ordinance, but never progressed with rules and fees to address stormwater matters. I intend to bring the guidelines and fees forward to the City Council in March to begin the process of collecting stormwater fees. This is a terribly difficult decision that has to be made, but it is the right thing to do and needs to be done. It constitutes a good business decision based on a simple premise. We have several identified drainage issues identified by Westler Engineering and classified as capital improvement projects throughout our city. These identified projects were brought forward in 2009 and have a projected cost of approximately $4.1 million to correct, and we have no funding to make corrections. We are subject to inspections by IDEM and are required to file MS4 reports annually as a city, and without having a stormwater utility in place makes it extremely difficult to comply. Coming within the next 5 to 10 years, all cities throughout the United States will be required to separate fluids and solids in their stormwater drains prior to introduction into a waterway or creek. And I'm thinking, how is any city going to pay for these requirements if they don't have a stormwater utility in place to assess fees? In 2006, residents were paying $1.50 per month for stormwater drainage on their property taxes to Marion County. We quit doing that in 2006, and we have gone almost 8 years without collecting any fees to offset expenses. It is time to move the city forward pursuant to stormwater management. In 2013, we continued to invest in our departments and the services provided to our citizens. Our police department purchased 4 new vehicles. Our fire department purchased 3 new staff vehicles and a pickup truck with plow capabilities, and we took delivery of a new fire engine. The fire department also ordered 5,000 feet of new hose, and 35 trauma kits were ordered by our police department. Our Department of Public Works purchased 2 new vehicles with plows, and 2 more salt spreaders were purchased, bringing our total to 6, which is the most we have ever had. These are all good purchases that have been made to make it easier to deliver much needed services to the citizens of our city. In the first quarter of 2014, we expect to take delivery of a new skid steer, which will greatly assist the workers out at DPW and in our park system. In 2014, our police department has already ordered 2 new vehicles through the Criminal Investigative Fund, and by year's end, we will have no choice but to replace the laptop computers that our police officers currently use as they have become obsolete. As we progress, we will continue to identify equipment that should be replaced, and we are looking at the leaf collection equipment out at DPW for replacement as well. My thoughts again are, let's keep good things happening. In 2013, we rededicated South Grove Park by naming it Chalice Park after longtime Parks Director Don Chalice. And we rededicated the baseball field in the city park by naming it Dick Templin Field after Dick Templin. In 2013, 2012, approximately $400,000 was invested in our park system. This included new shelters, roofs, restroom facility, playground equipment, walkways at Hartman Field, and we installed ADA-compliant playground equipment. Over $300,000 was spent to repair an age-old erosion problem in Lick Creek, and additional trees were planted near the creek line at Sarah T. Bolton Park. In 2013, our city participated in many civic events and recognized citizens on special accomplishments. Our city participated in the Fall Festival Parade, Beach Party, Summer Concert Series, Little League Parade, Homecoming Parade, Relay for Life, Promoters Club Fireworks, Lions Club Pork Chop Dinner, Lions Club Bean Dinner, Chamber of Commerce, Beautify Beach Grove Walk, St. Francis Walk to Remember, Oktoberfest, Memorial Day Service, and the Veterans Day Service. In 2013, our city issued proclamations for the American Legion, Tri Kappa, Constitution Week, Fire Prevention Week, Walk to Remember, Relay for Life, and recognized Nancy Roberts Evan Smiley, Roger Knight, John Quinn, and John O'Gara, along with the Beech Grove Middle School cross-country team and the Beech Grove Middle School basketball team. And last but not least, economic development. For the past 5 years, our assessed valuation has headed downward, but I think that may change within the next year. This is the direct result of investments made in our city by private corporations. Sometimes I gauge how we are doing by how busy our building commissioner is and by how many permits get issued for construction. In 2013, our building commissioner and the permit department kept very busy, and I suspect that the coming construction season will be just as good, if not better, for our city. In 2013, ADM Milling announced plans to construct a new mill in our city. This is a $30 million investment for our city, which is expected to go online by the end of April 2014. Kinetrix Energy announced plans to make $14 million worth of improvements to the LNG facility located near the high school, which is expected to go online by the end of March 2014. I would like to thank the City of Indianapolis and Develop Indy for their assistance in working with ADM Milling to provide the opportunity to make this investment. I would also like to thank Citizens Energy Group for all of their investments in our city in 2013. Citizens Energy Group installed new water mains on Main Street prior to construction, completed a septic tank elimination program on Sumner Avenue, and their current investment with LNG. These are critical investments for our city and are very much appreciated. Much needed new business began to arrive on Main Street. Yes, we lost some businesses during construction, but we gained at least 12 new ones after construction was complete. Main Street was not the only benefactor of new business. Our industrial park gained some new business as well. We are now home to the Klosterman's Bakery Distribution Center, Tool Shed Rental Center, Industrial Paint Coating, Lamping User Heating and Cooling, and Priority One Ambulance Service. In 2014, we expect to welcome new businesses such as Waffle House, Steve Areno's Eatery on Emerson Avenue, Jimmy John's, and maybe even a senior center near the fire station on Churchman. And hopefully, we will finally receive some type of direction from Franciscan Alliance concerning the vacant hospital property. I would suggest that we could hear something by as early as the end of February. So what does all this mean? It means that we have begun to stabilize our city, and we are focusing on the basics. We should pave our roads, rehab and clean our sewers, fix our drainage issues, invest in our parks, pick up trash, and continue to provide police and fire protection. That's the core of any good city, so we should do it as well. But we have also stabilized ourselves financially. We can no longer depend on increasing property taxes to fund local government. We have to have different forms of revenue that we can generate to make investments in our infrastructure and services that we provide to you. Growing as a city is the only way that we can maintain the quality of services that the citizens of our city are accustomed to. We are pleased to report that our pension funds are solid, our portion of the public safety option tax balance is good, our return of investment concerning the sewage utility is adequate, the rainy day fund balance is approaching $200,000, and the Main Street Loan Program, which folks was in complete shambles, is in the process of being turned around, and for the first time since our administration took office, the clerk treasurer and I met with a prospective new business owner who has an interest in the loan program. I am proud to say that we have not lost any employee due to budget constraints, nor have we had to eliminate any service to you as a result of diminished revenues. That was not the case when we began our service to the city in 2012. The clerk and the web administrator continue to release information for public knowledge, as you should be informed as to what your government is doing. Thousands upon thousands of citizens have logged onto our website to access public information, and that is a far cry from previous administrations concerning openness. We stated from the beginning that we would be accessible and accountable, and that is exactly the case. So where do we go from here? We continue to provide good services, adjust our user fees as needed, and move away from property taxes. Governor Pence desires to eliminate the personal property tax on business equipment. Whether or not that passes is up to the legislature, but we as a city cannot continue to be handcuffed by government decreasing the amounts of tax payments to our city. We have to fund our government differently. Let's continue to fix our roads, sewers, and invest in our services. We should create a funding mechanism to fix our stormwater problems and finally solve drainage issues that have plagued us for years. Let's continue to promote new and existing business, create jobs, and increase our value as a city. And let's invest in our employees. Let's create a healthcare network that is user-friendly and provides wellness to employees and family members. We should consider giving employees incentives to reduce healthcare costs. And how about rewarding employees who are healthy? Beginning in March, we will begin hiring part-time compliance officers whose job it will be to enforce and clean up our local neighborhoods. We will utilize our local city court as the enforcement arm for local ordinances pursuant to environmental matters. In a recent meeting with our judge, I advised him that this was going to take a great deal of time to get up and running, and I would not expect tickets to show up on the court schedule until mid to late September. And last year, I had the opportunity to listen to presentations by Beech Grove High School students regarding recycling. I thought it was very interesting, and it has convinced me that we should look into recycling as a city and provide recycling to our citizens. We should all do our part to keep our city clean, and I appreciated the insight from our young students. It is my intent to revisit this matter with local students again and gain more knowledge about recycling, and then maybe move forward with a different way to recycle. In closing, I always look for indicators as to how we are doing as a city, both operationally and financially. And I keep going back to a simple question that I want all of you to think about. My question to all of you is this: is our city better off now than it was 2 years ago? I want to say thank you for giving me the opportunity to serve as your mayor. It is my blessing and a blessing that I can give back to this wonderful city as well. To our clerk, city council members, to the citizens who serve on boards and committees, I say thank you. To the employees of our city, I say thank you for your dedicated service and helping to cause minimal interruptions in the lives of our citizens. We have and had several challenges in 2013, including the weather, and you have performed well. Thank you very much.